During World War II, several groups formed clubs. In these clubs were criminals who were declared to get retirement benefits by doing criminal acts on occasions. Among them are two of the most famous motorcycle gangs like the Hells Angels and the Pagans, who are known for their criminal activities like drug trafficking and racketeering across the United States. They have a long-standing grudge against one another that occasionally boils over into physical conflict. Let's check out how their personal grudge affects others and what harm it once caused to several people belonging to their own gang. In April 2022, when the Pagans, who were new to the area, founded a chapter in Fall River, the Warrant claims tensions between the gangs peaked. Located on the southern coast of Massachusetts, not far from the Rhode Island line, the city was once under the control of the Hells Angels. According to the Warrant, however, the Hells Angels have been ignoring the region as of late, letting a local chapter go inactive for more than 10 years. That made room for the growth of the Pagans. A short time later, they had relocated to Fall River. In response to this incursion, the Hells Angels revived their Cape Cod presence by erecting a sign in front of their renamed clubhouse. According to the Warrant, it was evident from this charge that the HAMC was intending to reassert its dominance in south coastal Massachusetts. Minutes from a recent Hells Angels meeting were used in the warrant as evidence that the group issued a nationwide green light order against the Pagans around the same time. According to the court documents, the green light granted Hells Angels members permission to attack on sight any pagan members. The conflict occurred not long after. Over 100 Hells Angels bikers stopped for gas in Bridgewater, Massachusetts on their way to the Pagans clubhouse in Fall River that morning of May 14th. A confidential informant told the task force that the Hells Angels Salem chapter is one of the most influential in the state of Massachusetts. The local Sidewinders Biker Club, among others, came to their aid as comrades. Before embarking on a ride that would end with several people being stabbed and assaulted on the street, gang members talked, bought food, and snapped images for social media. Do you know how many lives were hospitalized for their survival? We will let you know that soon, but let's focus on what the police were doing during this incident. The Fall River Police Department used surveillance cameras to follow the group of bikers as they rode to the city and carried out the attacks. A party of roughly 40 Hells Angels apparently disbanded and rode through the Pagan stronghold, as stated in the record. There was a large gathering of Pagans members and their significant others both inside and outside the clubhouse. According to the warrant, the Hells Angels came back a few minutes later, coming from the opposite direction. About 25 bikers dismounted and charged the Pagans outside, this time armed with knives, hammers, and clubs. There were an additional dozen or more HAMC members and associates at the area, the warrant states, providing support by blocking traffic and serving as lookouts during the attack. The warrant states that the pavement outside the clubhouse turned into a battleground as 24 Hells Angels swarmed 6 or 7 Pagans. When the police arrived, one of the Pagans was impaled with a dagger which was still protruding from his upper body. Several others were hurt, some by stab wounds and some by hard force. The warrant stated that multiple Hells Angels were in possession of ball-peen hammers, the gang's traditional weapon. According to the warrant, notable amounts of victims' blood were found on both sidewalks, the sides of neighboring automobiles and buildings, and one motorcycle visor. Only a few minutes passed during the violent chaos. 7 people were sent to local hospitals for treatment. Authorities believe the Hells Angels fled back to their recovered Cape Cod clubhouse once the fighting ended, as stated in the warrant. Agents keeping watch outside the gates saw several vehicles and motorcycles speed away. The drivers dispersed in all directions, some changing into new outfits. The presence of many HAMC members in Westport also suggests that weapons and other incriminating items from the crime scene could have been concealed at the clubhouse shortly after the attack, the warrant stated. A confidential source told police after the attack that Hells Angels were behind it because PMC members had disrespected the HAMC and the latter needed to reassert their dominance.